Hi, welcome to the nutraMetrix staff training number 3. My name is Katherine Knapp and I'm a corporate field consultant with nutraMetrix, and I'm going to be walking through the third step of 3 consecutive staff trainings. So please make sure that you've watched step number 1 and staff training number 2 before viewing this process number 3. So here we're going to cover what exactly we do, what the procedures are, what it looks like in the practice, and exactly how we customize an implementation in the practice. Okay, so this is a process, and we're going to take it step by step. We now know why the patients need wellness solutions and how nutraMetrix supports it. We covered that in the staff training number 1 and number 2. So we're going to cover exactly what needs to be done in your practice on a daily basis to have wellness for patients, support the vision and goals of the practice, and basically cover the exact process we're going to be going through. Every practice is different, but there are certain steps in each practice that remain basically the same. So we're really going to cover those in more detail. So this particular slide, I could honestly do the entire training through this slide. So let's take a look at what the process looks like from a bird's eye view. We'll take a look at the ingredients and the big picture, and then we're going to break it down into its individual little pieces. All right, so what happens, the patient drives up and they come into your office, and what do they see? What is in the waiting room? Okay, do they see wellness-oriented literature? Do you have posters on the walls that are going to make patients think about wellness? What's playing on your TV? Is it Judge Judy, or is it wellness informative videos and things like that that can get the mindset going for wellness with the patient? Okay, in every practice, the patient is going to be greeted by a front desk person, and typically they get a clipboard full of papers that they need to fill out. So we're going to just add this wellness intake form here to the clipboard of papers that the patients are going to fill out with their initial walking in. So, and also this person at the front desk is going to register them as a nutraMetrix patient in your nutraMetrix database. The next thing that happens, and here, this is a picture of the wellness poster that you'll see on the walls in the practices. I have a bigger picture of that you'll see later. Okay, so those are the things that the patient's looking at when they come into the practice. What are they seeing before they even see the health professional? Okay. The next step is they're escorted to an exam room by a staff member. Okay, they've been registered as a customer into the patient database for nutraMetrix, and they're going to be escorted into the exam room by a staff member who could potentially ask them about their wellness goals. Okay, they wait in this exam room to see their practitioner. So while they're waiting, what are they looking at in that exam room? Are they seeing things like this on the walls or the body poster? What are they seeing? Are there wellness posters to reinforce their mental mindset about their wellness goals as they wait for the health professional? Okay, so the next step is the health professional examines the patient, and they can discuss their health challenges and goals based upon their findings in the exam and the wellness intake form that the patient has filled out that's part of their file. So the health professional can make product recommendations to support those needs that they've found through the exam and the wellness intake form. Okay, after that, the next step is the patient goes to some sort of a checkout area, and this person has their nutraMetrix products for them that were recommended by the health professional. And this person can provide handouts for each product that's recommended and answer basic questions. any products that are not in stock in the practice can be ordered right there with this person through your customized nutraMetrix website using the patient's credit card. Follow-up is entered into the patient chart and or the practice calendar for following up with the patient to reinforce their results with the products that have been recommended. So what happens is the outcome is patients feel the results from their nutraMetrix supplements and they reorder consistently, and they recommend their friends to your practice because they're so happy with how they feel with what's happening with their treatment and protocols from you and your practice. So this slide I love because it really does, I mean, I could end the training in many respects right here. But what we're going to do is we're going to break this down into each step. So, you know, as I said, every practice is different, but there are certain basic steps that remain the same in every practice. So let's look at what step one is. Okay. All right. So step one is always to welcome the patient. This usually includes handing patients a clipboard, as I said, with some intake forms to fill out, and we just simply add the wellness intake form to this clipboard. For existing patients who are coming back, who've already filled out most of that paperwork, we just simply inform them that we're updating our records and ask them to fill out the wellness intake form. It's a simple, it takes 5 minutes for them to fill it out. When they return the form to you, you can register them in your nutraMetrix patient database, and optionally you can give them either a patient ID card or a welcome to wellness letter with their patient ID number on it. So this actually takes less than 30 seconds to do, and the card or letter can then be passed over to the checkout area for later use. Okay. All right, so this is basically just showing us how we can log in to the back off as a staff member to register the patients. So this is what it all looks like. There's the staff login. You just put in the email address and password, enter the basic contact information, and it produces a patient ID number, and you can, as I said, write that on the card or the letter. Okay? All right, the next step is, this is where practices can really vary, okay? The main focus here is referring to the wellness intake form and talking with the patient about it. If there's a staff member, they can let the patient know the practice is focusing on prevention and wellness as well as sickness care, and they can share a quick vision statement with the patient while edifying the health professional. Now, some practices have an advanced intake process where a staff member could pre-assess the patient's health concerns, and they could make notes for the health professional to review them during their exam. Other practices may take it a step further and have a wellness coach or even a nutritionist on staff, in which case the patient would be recommended to see that specialist after their exam or treatment with the health professional. There are also practices where the health professional performs all the functions personally with no staff, in which case the health professional simply refers to the wellness intake form as a conversation opener, and we'll cover this conversation in more detail later in this training. In any case, this simple yet vital step that should not be overlooked is to share the practice's vision statement, including wellness and prevention, with the patient. So we covered that in staff training number 1. That's like the basic foundational building block. So if you haven't got a clear vision statement, including wellness for your practice, you definitely need to refer back to that staff training number 1 and get one together, and that everybody can be able to quickly and easily share with patients. Okay, so during the time spent with in the exam room with the patient, the health professional has the opportunity to engage in targeted conversations about wellness in general, and specifically wellness with regard to each specific patient's unique challenges and goals. All right, we'll go into detail about how this is done in just a minute, but it's obviously a critical ingredient to success in the practice And we have tools to facilitate this dialogue. The health professional needs to have a mental mindset to speak with every patient about wellness every day. It's just a matter of basically creating a new habit, okay? And we're gonna be with you all the way to help you do that. And we, as I said, we have specific tools that make it very easy for even the most reluctant or nervous health professional to be able to bring up conversations on wellness. Okay, so step 4 is many practices choose to have a dedicated staff member to handle all their nutraMetrix touch points with patients. This can be as simple as having a dedicated staff member for it, or as sophisticated as having a professional nutritionist or dietitian in the practice. Either way, this step includes giving the patient varying amounts of additional product information and handing them targeted product handouts for the products the health professional has recommended. In the case of having a nutritionist or other professional, the time spent with the patient will include more of a consultation, providing more detail and education. This may or may not also include processing the patient's order. Okay, so let's review the process leading up to the face-to-face time the patient will be spending with the health professional during their exam or treatment. The patient has already filled out the wellness intake form. They've noticed the wellness goals posters and brochures and things like that in the waiting area, and maybe they've even taken a brochure. They've been assured that the health professional is interested in providing solutions to the patient's overall preventive, structural, and wellness needs. And the wellness conversation's already begun, and the patient has an open mind, and they're ready to hear what their practitioner suggests for their unique health goals and challenges. So now what? What happens next? Okay, so this is the golden conversation opener, and this is what we want to see on the walls in your practice waiting room, in your exam rooms, because as the patient sits there and looks at this, it's definitely going to get them thinking, all right? So let's look at this a little closer. This is going to help the health professional comfortably and naturally engage patients in discussions about their wellness, and getting patients to really kind of think and crystallize, you know, how they feel about their health today. How do I feel today? Like, what do I really feel like? How happy am I with my wellness? Where am I on this chart? Okay. So that's gotten their mind open. So now it's really a matter of the next step. Oh, and here, these are the brochures that the patient can take. Each one of these brochures corresponds with the poster that's on the wall. So that if they feel that they're a 0, they're going to take the brochure that says for 0, and it's targeted advice and information for the patient who is at that point in their journey to wellness. Okay, so here, the health professional just simply needs to ask, how do you feel about your health today? Point to the poster, and they can give examples. If -5 means you feel you have serious concerns about your health, and 0 means you feel okay about your health with no real complaints, and +5 means you feel great and you're proactive about your health, where would you say you are on this scale today? Okay, easy, easy. So now they just have to listen to the patient's answer and then refer to the wellness intake form, which will tell the health professional if they're currently taking any supplements to support these goals and concerns. So now the health professional can ask the golden question. They say something like this: I see you're taking, for example, a multivitamin and a calcium. These are 2 solid foundations for maintaining good health. Tell me, are you taking those in a pill, powder, or isotonic form? And they just wait for the answer, which will pretty much always be that they're taking a pill. So then the health professional can look a little disappointed and say, oh, well, we need to get you upgraded. A simple explanation about the superior nutrient delivery system of isotonics should make any patient who's currently taking pills want to upgrade to isotonics. So here's a quick example of what a quick explanation about upgrading to isotonics might look like. Okay, after significant research, we've learned that pills can have binders and fillers that can make them unable to be digested and broken down. They can actually spend hours in the stomach, which can cause nausea in some patients. This is why we recommend you use the nutraMetrix isotonics, because when you drink them on an empty stomach, your body recognizes them as already digested, and they pass right through your stomach to the small intestine, delivering over 90% nutrient absorption within minutes. It's the next best thing to taking intravenous vitamin therapy. So that's the short conversation. Everybody can learn those 3 or 4 sentences, and it's very effective. So now let's look at the facts and some other conversations that you can have with your patients. Okay, so here's some additional ways to engage our patients. These are 3 simple questions. Number 1, are you happy with your current health? Number 2, if you keep doing what you're doing, will your health improve? That's an unusual one. I like that one. If you could improve one thing about your health, what would it be? These are 3 great questions, okay? All right, so presenting the facts now to the patients. First of all, you need to know just yourself that our surveys show that over 80% of patients are already taking nutritional supplements, and that they would prefer to have advice from their trusted health professional about their supplementation. The other thing to keep in mind is most Americans, and therefore most of your patients, don't consume a healthier, balanced diet, right? And even if they do, our food supply is nutritionally depleted compared to years ago. So we really do need to supplement. Now, we covered that very heavily in the staff trainings 1 and 2. So you can refer back to that, but we need to have that mental mindset and sort of the foundational in there. We also have the highest rates of osteoporosis, heart disease, diabetes, and obesity in the world. So over half your patients will experience an osteoporosis-related fracture in their lifetime. So knowing this, we know we can help prevent a lot of misery for your patients by intervening early with education, lifestyle, and nutrition. So let's look at how you can speak with your patients about how specific nutrients can help support their health challenges. All right, here we go. Once people understand the why, once patients understand why we should do something, the what and the how will naturally follow. And we also covered that in staff training number 1. So let's look at a patient with, for example, elevated C-reactive protein levels. All right, so the why would be your C-reactive protein levels are elevated, and you're demonstrating multiple symptoms of inflammation. You have joint pain and your blood pressure is a bit high. Okay, the how is a simple explanation about antioxidants, maybe specifically OPC3, which has been scientifically proven to reduce CRP levels by over 52% in 2 months while being healthy overall. Simply stated, antioxidants help reduce inflammation while helping promote cardiovascular health and joint flexibility. And the what would be, we can put you on a steroid, which may have XYZ side effects, or we can give you a natural alternative that has lots of additional health benefits, including helping your joints feel more comfortable. I'd rather see you take the antioxidant because I don't want to see you having to deal with those side effects. I'd rather see you experience additional overall health benefits while addressing your inflammation. So it's as simple as saying something like that. Okay, so you can support your patient's wellness in 2 ways. You can provide targeted nutritional support for a known deficiency, such as vitamin D, and you can provide preventive wellness to lay the foundation for wellness to help prevent or mitigate diseases that may come up. By asking simple questions of your patients, you can identify their unique wellness goals, and you can give them the type of care that they want. Okay, And here's that poster again. We're going to see this a few times because this thing is great. All right, so it all starts here with the poster and the corresponding patient handouts that go with it. Okay, so let's, we covered this earlier, but these next few slides will give you a snapshot of our tools in the back office and your nutraMetrix website for registering patients, tracking orders, etc. I'm going to just kind of breeze over these because your nutraMetrix consultant will show you exactly how to use them and customize it for your practice. There are also video tutorials on unfranchise.com under downloads and nutraMetrix. Okay. All right. So let's look at them real quick here. Okay. Quickly entering orders. So initially, we register the patient through your customized nutraMetrix website. All right. Once they're registered, you can quickly locate them in the drop-down menu, which is here, the drop-down menu. And once you're in the patient's profile, you can order the desired products right there in the moment and have them delivered right to the patient's doorstep. And you can print a receipt there too, which is cool. Okay. Every order is accessible through your back office on unfranchise.com or through the patient's profile login. So you can see everything that's been ordering. Here's where we create the receipt. Okay, we can now here, what we want to notice here is that when you're using the staff login, you have the ability to enter products either from your office inventory picked up on site here, or from products to be shipped, and you can put them all in the same invoice here. So now here's what we want to, it's a little bit of a, this next one is going to be a big follow-up, is critical to success. It's critical to success everywhere, and this is no exception, and it might even be magnified here. So it begins with good data entry and record keeping at the very start. So what I like to suggest is that when the purchase is made, you mark the patient's chart with the date of each purchase and what was purchased and why. You can calculate the reorder date right away when they initially purchased the product and note when they're going to be needing to reorder on their chart and your calendar for your practice. I also suggest, it's a really great thing, if you're able to do this, it'll make a huge difference, is to mark your calendar for 3 days after the patient begins taking the product to give them a quick call and assure that they're taking it correctly and consistently. And, here's an opportunity to reinforce, the added benefits that the patient may see even above and beyond the main reasons they're taking the product. So, for example, a patient may be taking OPC for joint comfort, but they may also notice that they have more energy, their skin looks better, etc., things like that. If you don't tell them what to look for, they will not attribute it to the product. And the other thing is, when they feel better, patients forget how bad they felt earlier, and they forget that they even had those, aches and pains or whatever they were once they're gone. So when the staff calls, when the staff calls the patient or the health professional discusses it in person with the patient, we need to reiterate the benefits and ask if the patient has experienced them. Let them know also when you're going to want to let them know when it's time to reorder. So, mark the calendar for about 7 to 10 days before that product's going to need to be reordered. And your patients will absolutely love you for this. They love the personal service and attention, and I cannot stress to you how significantly it can improve your patient compliance, their results, and their reorders. Okay, so let's look ahead at what we can develop with your practice over time. All right, once the first phase of implementation, the process, has been implemented, it's time to get going with the ongoing education and build that share of customer through a gradual product expansion. Once your patients experience the benefits of the initial supplements you suggest, they'll be very interested to try additional ones. This may also be where you would implement our full education-based weight management system with TLS. And your nutrimetrics consultant will be with you all the way, guiding you through each of these phases. So they'll help you set a plan for adding targeted products to meet the goals of your patients in your practice. Okay? So phase 3 is once we've established a smooth integration system with happy patients who are reordering and adding additional products to their repertoire, things are running like clockwork in your practice. That's when we can look at phase 3, which is where your practice refers us to other health professionals who would like to experience similar benefits to, for their patients in their practice. So again, your nutrimetrics consultant will be alongside of you all the way, coaching you and giving you, advice as to when it's time to think about moving to the next little steps. So it's always the next step, the next step, the next step. So really, the next steps are, speaking of next steps, to schedule a training for, learning what each staff's role is going to be here in this bigger picture, and schedule a product education plan. And really, here's one: implement daily activity. Remember I said a mindset to talk with every patient about wellness and how specific nutrimetrics products can support that wellness, and bring them closer to meeting their wellness goals. So remember that this is a process that unfolds one step at a time. So don't worry about remembering everything here. The purpose of this training is to give you a view of what the overall process looks like. Your nutrimetrics consultant is your ambassador and your coach, and they'll escort you through each and every step. So just keep nutrimetrics in your mind on a daily basis as part of your office routine. Create that habit. This is the key to your success for your patients as well as your practice. And make sure you book your dates for your staff trainings, your product education, and patient education. So thank you. We look forward to hearing success stories from all of you.